stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back, get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Into the trends. See you, Lee, be the band.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Corner to Copa. The Detroit Tigers split with the lowly Kansas City Royals. After sweeping the Chicago Cubs, second place team? Yeah, second place team because Milwaukee's head and shoulders above the rest. But we head back to Detroit with a full head of steam. Up against a Kansas City Royals team that is without Bobby Witt, without Garcia, out with a lot of guys, but they managed to take the last two games of the series. There's a reoccurring theme that I'm sure will be echoed once we break down the games. But what did you see more so from the last two games that were ultimately to our demise?
I didn't get a chance to see yesterday's game, but I looked at the box scores and some of the other notes, and it's just like it looked like a May game. Had a lead going into the late innings, and because of the lack of success in May with the bullpen, has kind of trickled over. And they blew it in the ninth. Salvi hit a home run. Of course, he's hitting like 210 this year after he had a great year last year, but I think Father Time is finally catching up to him. But he's been a Tiger killer his whole career. It's the offense. Honestly, the last few days, it's the offense. It's just nowhere to be found. And really, over this 4-game series, they had one good game offensively. That was it. And I was in person there today. I'll tell you, if it wasn't for that error and some luck, they may have only scored 2 runs today. So thank God Kansas City couldn't field. Otherwise, they wouldn't have even had the lead to come back to begin with. Riley was Dingler was the only legitimate hit that drove in runs that wasn't from walks or an error or misplay. So they kind of hung by on some luck the last 2 games, honestly. But starting pitching was great, continues to be pretty good, but it's inefficient. We're killing our bullpen because these guys are throwing 97 pitches through 5 innings. And then we got to piece it together with a bunch of 4A minor leaguers that just can't get it done, and a dinosaur in Kenley Jansen who has no other pitch than a dead cutter.
Hey, you know what, though? Kenley Jansen quietly has been on quite a tear the last month. I think hasn't given up an earned run all month. I think he's in his last 30 days, so that might be slightly incorrect, but in his last 30 days, he's got an opponent batting average of 161 and an ERA of 3.12. He's quietly got under 4, and he's been fairly clean as of late. But this is what killed me yesterday. I watched the entire game yesterday, and we got so we blew the lead. I think Jacob Waguespack gave up the game winning run, and but we similar to today where we got runners on in the 9th inning, and yesterday it was McGonigal. No, it was Riley Green on third. It was McKinstry on first, and Vierling up to bat. First 2 pitches from Alex Lang, former Tiger. We got rid of him, and now he's the closer in Kansas City. But at any rate, after striking out Hyu Lee to start the inning, Vierling's up there squaring the bunt. First time he bunts it too hard, nearly allows the first baseman to catch it. And the second time, I think he just whiffed on it. and then and obviously he didn't square the bunt with 2 strikes. I think he ultimately struck out. I think he struck out.
He did, yeah.
And then leaving it up to Spencer Torkelson, who has been good with runners in scoring position, has been good when there wasn't a runner on second base, because we know he can't hit with the bases loaded. But I think he takes the first pitch and pops out to the catcher to end the game. My thing is this, and this is your corner outfielder. Like, if corner outfielders are usually your better power hitters, but if you have a player in the game, not on the bench, in the game, that feels like he has to square the bunt just to get the ball in the air, because all he has to do is a deep enough fly ball to allow Riley Green to tag up and score. And instead, regardless of whether the coach gave that sign or whether in his mind he said, I need to bunt, I don't think I can get my bat on the ball. Alex Lang at that. Like, this is somebody that we literally said, to hell with you, we don't even want you. Looking at our bullpen now, it just seems insane. But yeah, I mean, he felt that his best chance was trying to square the bunt. I mean, we're not talking about Duran of the Phillies. We're not talking about Mason Miller on the Padres. We're talking about Alex Lang. No disrespect, but yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts about? I think you said you didn't get a chance to watch it, but just close your eyes and imagine Matt Vierling squaring the bunt with runners on first and third with 1 out.
Yeah, and I thought I saw some of the numbers in terms of like his chase rate or contact rate late 3 innings, like 7th, 8th, 9th innings in the last handful of years. It's pretty good success and a very low like strikeout rate, like under 10%, which is better than league average. I mean, that screams AJ, because if you try it once and you don't get it and that's on your own, you usually don't go back to the well on it again, because that got to get your ass on the bench potentially. But the fact that he went back to it tells me that was an AJ move.
That's fair.
But I feel like Vierling's also more of a natural center fielder. He's got some pop, but he's definitely an athlete outfielder that kind of do a little bit of everything. But the fact that he couldn't, well, the other thing, what I was told too, that second strike that he ended up pulling back on was right down middle Broadway.
Yeah.
Like that is on him 100%. That second pitch, you're not going to get and it was a fastball. Like, that is the easiest pitch location other than maybe inside or a little out and higher up, so you can really try and angle where you want to go with it, because it's a do nothing pitch. If you see the 4-seam, I can push it where I want, and he didn't even offer. But then again, we've noted this last 2 years since 2024 run, they just don't bunt. So I can't imagine they're practicing it that often. If they are, it's so minuscule that obviously it's a glaring issue in game when they can't get it done. But to your point, clutch situations and not the right guys coming up, and ultimately they choked. And today, 2 on, no outs in the 9th, and no one ever got past second base. And you had the meat of the order up, and they went whiff, or whatever outs. And it was just like, well, damn.
But I'll tell you what, though, a guy that needs not ever see Toledo ever again, Hyu Lee. That dude had the week of all weeks. It just seemed like every time he got up, even in the 9th inning, I think he walked. Yeah, I think he walked his way on base, but he hit a gapper, like just straightaway center field early in the game, hit a couple home runs. I think his average is 391 for the last 7 days. And I think he's hitting something like 500 with runners in scoring position. Like, he's just fearless out there. Now, as a fielder, he had another error today. Might have, yeah, and it was bad because it was in the midst of a Framber meltdown, and that couldn't have helped things. But I mean, Framber, I think, ended up only because it was bad earlier in the week on his return from bereavement. He got completely blown up. Who was that versus? The Cubs?
Cubs, yeah.
Oh, Oh, we didn't sweep the Cubs. We
Yeah,
lost.
that's
that
what I was
game.
saying no earlier. We got blown out, and
Right.
McKinstry pitched 2 innings, and Rogers pitched the 9th.
Right. So so the Framber blow up. So that's what 2 games. So 2 games this week that that
Not good
Framber pitched.
starts.
Yeah. But this one not so much on him, and obviously the defense from Lee didn't help him in that first inning, but he was able to weather the storm, and I don't think maybe he gave up another run. How many runs did we only scored? The final score is what, 5-4?
Just did 5-4, because they scored
Summers
the home run was a 3-run homer. It was we did I think we got all 4. It was all 4 off of the starter that we got. Yeah, but no, he didn't give up.
Drew Summers gave up a 2-run. That's how we lost the lead.
So then he gave up 3 then. Yeah. 3 and 5 innings after he gave up that leadoff home run.
Oh yeah, that was the start of the game. Yeah. So so yeah, that's the one. In most of the lead plays are pretty. I feel like they're mental errors where he just lacking focus for just a second, and I don't know. I think sometimes those routine ones you just overthink. But outside of that, I mean, he was great all week. Dingler hit 2 home runs in that game 1 series against Chicago, which I think it was like 8-6. We went to extra innings. Green hit a home run in that game, but hey, we talked about it last week when Gleyber was activated off the IL. That the offense really got going. Now he had a rough game. I don't think he had a good game today. He had a couple strikeouts and some pretty big moments. They got him in a 3-hole right now, which is weird. But you know what else? Like I said, I just mentioned how hot Hyu Lee was. He was batting 9th today. I said, what the hell is he doing? This is our hottest. I mean, I won't say he's our hottest hitter, but he's hell of a lot better hitter than Spencer Torkelson right now. It worked out in the situation because he did a good job of kind of flipping the batting order where, Lee gets on base and then you got McGonigal coming up. And I think even McGonigal had a couple pop, I think he had a couple, rough at bats where he just popped out. But so yeah, it ended up working where Lee was kind of a second leadoff hitter in a sense. But I hate the fact that he's had less at bats because he, batted last. So yeah, I don't know about that one. That one was odd to me. But yeah, and I think you alluded to it, the bottom, and maybe that's what it was. We looked at the statistics and said bottom of the lineup is worst in baseball or whatever it was. And AJ said, "Oh, I'll just put my best hitter in the 9-hole. That'll help that problem." And only managed 4 runs, in this game. But yeah, AJ always trying to be the smartest man in the room, and ultimately taking the bat out of the hottest hit. Like, I know he looked at the lineup and said, "What is this?" I mean, he's pretty much capitalized on every big opportunity there is. So I don't know. That's AJ for you. Yeah, we pretty much talked about everything that happened today. Any other things you want to talk about as far as the Cubs series? We didn't really talk about that one too much.
I mean, God, we almost didn't even win that series. We needed extra innings in the first game.
Yeah.
Again, kind of winning with some luck, but I mean, you take what you can get, but it doesn't really give you the reassurance that this team is truly better than the slide they had early in the year to get into the playoffs and then do damage. Because let's be honest, just getting in as a wild card, not going to move the needle. I know, okay, you're in. You have a chance. Sure. I'm a realist, man. This team is dead last in divisional win percentage against their own division, and they're below 500 against the rest of the league. And I don't mean American League, I mean overall. If you can't win on the road, you can't win your division. It's a bulkier games where you have direct impact to jump in standings. I mean, to hell with your starting rotation, you can't hit for clutch crap anywhere. And to your point, yeah, Hyu Lee batting in weird positions. Gleyber too. Gleyber has no extra base hits since coming back. None. He's a 250 hitter with a below 700 OPS in his 16 at bats back, 5 walks, only 6 strikeouts. So that helps the OPS, man. If that was skewed a little bit more, man, he'd be 600 if he's lucky.
But he's hitting third, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing though. Like, he needs to be up there with McGonigal, and if it's Dingler in the 3 hole, or if it's Riley up there, but he's got to, because those guys should be putting the ball in play with some authority to drive them in. But I mean, that was a theme today: walk, out, walk, out, little squibber, single, strikeout. Like, no one is putting the ball in play. It's just like, who's going to step out? Outman had twice with multiple runners on.
It always ended up being
before.
Yeah, it always ended up where he was the guy on base. And I know in his head, and I think he had a big home run. Was that this week that he hit the I think game 1?
Yeah. It was his only hit of like that series, and it was his first big hit since he got signed, and he hit that 3-run home run in the very first game he played with us, and it didn't do much of anything since. He's at like 170. But like, you look at Carey, his first or second at bat, he deep fly out to left center. I think he was on a fastball type pitch, because all he did was flick that wrist. He just flicked his lead wrist, and that ball went. But that told me that he was just trying to slow the bat down when he realized it was a slower pitch, so that way the barrel could stay through the zone longer to at least get contact on the ball. But I mean, man, if he had, I guessed right, I think it would have been gone. But much to our chagrin, he came out after a second at bat due to an undisclosed injury. So this team just continues to take a hit after another. And I know he's been struggling mightily, but I think that's also a direct contribution from AJ Hinch. I'm going to say it. He is killing Kerry Carpenter's potential. Absolutely killing him. But that's probably a story for another day. But yeah, Hao-Yu Lee, man, just rock solid. Problem is, he's a worse defender than Gleyber. Gleyber's not that good to begin with. So
yeah, because Gleyber had an error. I think Gleyber had an error since he's been back too, which is this week.
He's only played 1 game in the field. He's been DH the other 3. That tells you he's limited. And I don't think he's got too much left in the tank. And you've got 3 second basemen that are average or below average fielders in Colt Keith, just at second base. Because honestly, I think he's been better at third than second.
He's been flashing the leather at third. I've actually been really impressed.
He had a good game today. He made 3 really nice plays today. But yeah, you've got 3 weak fielding second basemen and Kevin McGonigal on the other side of the middle infield, and you still have no everyday true third baseman that you can really rely on. So that's the part that sucks, because you need Hao-Yu Lee's bat in there. You have to.
Well,
but,
you damn near
AJ's married to the wrong people.
Yeah, I mean, you damn near got a DH Hao-Yu Lee if push comes to shove, because he's hitting righties and lefties. It's not just
dude. Yeah. He's last 30 days last 30 days he's hitting 311 with a 574 slug and a 918 OPS. And to your point about the last 15 days, listen to this slash line: 400 with 419 OBP, because he only has 1 walk. He's cranking it. A 700 slug and an 1119 OPS. This dude is on fire, and he's getting hits every game. Even if it's just 1, it's an extra base hit.
Yeah, and he's hitting it to all fields. I mean, he's pushed a couple to the opposite field with some authority, and he's also starting to pull the ball as well. And he's shown the potential that he can take a walk, because in the 9th inning, like I said, he took a walk in a tight situation against a closer throwing 100 miles an hour. So he's just clicking on all cylinders, and you can see the fans starting to catch wind. I was talking to my pops today. Who was this Lee guy? Like, because the people that don't watch every single day, it takes them a minute to catch wind. But I mean, you make enough noise, it's like, hey, like it, people are gonna take heed after a while. So so that's that. Kiter Montero. I want to say he had another good his last outing went 5 1/3, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, 81 pitches. And you had a stat line. I think you put What do you remember what it was? He was like top 5. It was like him, Cam Schlittler.
That graphic? Yeah. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, and all those other guys are probably gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
That's crazy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Whip leaders: Jacob Mizorowski, 0.77; Yamamoto of the Dodgers, 0.88; Cam Schlittler, 0.93; Montero, 0.96 whip. And all those guys are in the top 5 Cy Young running for each league, respectively, if not the front runner, like Cam is.
Yeah, I'm sitting comfortable in that class. But yeah, how long have we been talking about Kiner Montero? Us personally, we always were on that bandwagon. But yeah, we're 20 minutes in the show. We're gonna get to the first break, and then we're gonna talk rosters. Be right back. All right. What roster situations we got going on?
Yeah, so you alluded to it earlier back at the beginning of the week. Glaber was activated, which sent Valencia back down to Toledo. I still have a feeling we have not seen the last of him, Valencia, hopefully. On the 21st, it was revealed, I think surprisingly, it took us by surprise when I texted you that Jack Flaherty was put on the 15-day IL with the right hip flexor strain. And recalled Ty Madden, who's been all right this week. I think he made a second appearance today this week.
He looked good.
He got thrown in a bad. I'm giving him a pass in that Cubs game because Framber put him on the spot and he had to get hot fast because he couldn't even make it out of the first inning. So
first inning,
I'm gonna give him a pass on that. But he's shown promise since last year. A minor league signing that kind of snuck onto the radar. They signed catcher Carlos Perez to terms undisclosed with no assignment yet. To your point, you alluded to offline a few days ago about Nido being injured. I may have accidentally stolen some of that thunder, but I think to your point, I think this ties into that directly, probably as a depth thing at Toledo. But aside from that, on the 24th, Birch Smith left a rehab start in Toledo with shoulder discomfort, and in the interim has been shut down until further evaluation and testing can be done. And then the 26th, Carpenter today left mid-game with an undisclosed injury. I do want to say when he was jogging in the 3rd or 4th inning, he kind of looked like he was running with a little bit of a limp. But if it's his hamstring again, man, he might just be cooked because that thing he admitted the other year, I don't think it was last year, I think it was 2024, he pulled it like 5 times during the season.
That was last year.
And in the playoffs, it finally caught up to him, and he couldn't run in Cleveland. But more on Carpenter later on. But that's it for now for injuries and roster moves with no Skubal trade yet.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Carpenter. Yeah. That 2 years ago. Yeah, he couldn't walk. But last year, I want to say he was laboring around the bases and was kind of nursing it for a little bit as well. It's been something that's been ongoing, and it's been ongoing for the last couple of years. So we'll see about that. Obviously, we got somebody coming back, so it may be a smooth transition. But of course, we're all pulling for one particular outfielder to finally get that shot. But that's parlay right into the minor league report. EJ Exposito hit another home run on Friday. Justice Bigby has a 24-game hitting streak currently, which is an Erie record. He's kind of been a journeyman. He's a little bit older prospect. Was in Toledo for a handful of games before getting sent back to Erie, but might be an interesting prospect name that we might be able to float in a trade, because I don't see any any pathway for him to get to the major leagues anytime soon. You talked about Tomas Nido got released. Josue Briseño hit a home run on Saturday, straightaway center field from 118 feet in Erie. Javi Baez hit 3 doubles in his rehab start on Saturday. Jackson Jobe made another rehab start, 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. And Max Clark hit another home run yesterday, 107 off the bat, 381 feet. clock is ticking on him. So that is that. What else? Oh, around the league, anything going on around the league that caught your eye?
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees somehow have dug themselves out of that hole that we were contributing to their streak the other week. They're at 8-2 in their last 10, and they're right back in the mix of it. It's just you look around at some of these other teams, and like Boston was below us a month ago. In fact, they were largely written off, and I think a lot of us agreed, like, they're kind of dead in the water right now. And all of a sudden, they win 15 in a row. Then they lose 2 or 3, and then they've won a few more in a row. I mean, their stretch run has been better than our May month. Put that in perspective, how hot they are.
June.
Yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating, but the Yankees are back into it. The only team Detroit has jumped since last week is Toronto, but there's only like 2 or 3 teams that have fully committed to being sellers right now. And everyone else is still kind of, they're all in line, shoulder to shoulder. They're bumping each other, trying to figure out what the hell, where's my next step to be? Where do I need to go? But I don't think that really changes in the national scope with Skubal. But not too much else from around the league.
Have we talked about Skubal saying that he was hurt yet? Or is that?
We can go there if you want, if that's where you want to transition to, because boy, I know we got a lot to discuss and analyze here. If you want to kick it off with a particular comment to start that got under your skin.
Well, so he basically said that he knew that he was injured in January, and that he felt that he was trending towards recovering, because January, that's a long time away from March, kind of, I guess. But the part that threw me, and once again, no filter, didn't really have to say this. He 100% didn't have to say this. He says, this is in the midst of the arbitration deal. He knew that he was in a arbitration battle, and he may have subconsciously had that on his mind when deciding whether or not to get his elbow checked out, because there was no harm in getting his elbow checked out. Now, mind you, I understand. Why would you cut yourself down to the legs and give them more leverage? But why say it? You didn't have to say it. He did. It wasn't provoked. It wasn't like he got caught in a lie or something like that. He volunteered that information. And it's like, is he not smart, or is he like does he just tone deaf? Like, that was insane to me. But what do you think about the fact that he said that subconsciously, basically, I'm mad at you guys because you didn't want to pay me, so I intentionally didn't get my arm checked out. Like, this is something that affected us in a sense. When he got hurt, not to say that I don't know what impact it was, but he got hurt, and then we had that May. That's literally how the progression of it. But you've had a lot to say about Skubal. Yeah.
Fuck him. I'm done. I mean, he's a snake. Point blank. I mean, I could get really riled up about it. I did on offline, just texting about it. But like, this guy is playing two sides of the same coin, and it's finally getting on people's nerves, and they're finally picking up on. And this has been going on for months, since last year. But I mean, in terms of the quote, like that article was in the Player Tribune. That's a player-run platform. Like, you didn't have to give that interview. And to the point, what some of the local sports personalities here in the Detroit area have mentioned, you had every opportunity to tell him you're wrong, or leave tread marks on his face and bury him for it, which he would have been in the right to do if it was wrong. And He didn't. He didn't back. He just tried to walk it back, and then he's made the comment. Oh, well, his comment, like, I didn't mean to say that. Is, remember 2 starts ago, I thought I hit a little more left in the tank. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, where was that last year in Seattle, jackass? Like, what are we talking about here? This guy doesn't own residence in Michigan at all. He does PR shit in December for 2 weeks and goes back home to Arizona. All of his posts are always from his Phoenix or whatever home out there. This guy's got no roots here. Does not want to stay here. Does not care. Bye. Because he doesn't want to go to a potential team that we could just ship him off to for crap and be like, here's a losing team or a team that might not make it. Just get out of here. But I mean, it's bad. This is borderline psychotic behavior. He's publicly
I'm starting to question his mental, like not his mental, because you said psychotic. I don't know, but like just his intelligence. I feel like his ability to read the room. I feel like he's essentially a dumb job. Great athlete, but like he doesn't know how to. Gave an article
to the media and then blame the media for being wrong, but then they didn't say they were wrong and didn't call him out on it. Like, yeah,
because he basically, the interview that I saw that I think was a rebuttal to his initial talking about the injury was basically you twisted my words, or I'm not going to do that with you. We're not going to whatever. Yeah. He tried to make it seem like it was blown out of proportion, basically, and he just put it on them. But it's like based upon what you said. Yeah.
But where's the misinformation? Then you had the chance right there to say ABC. Nope.
So when he was throwing T-shirts in the crowd at the Breslin, his elbow was fucked up.
Well, here's the kicker. Here's what really pisses me off about that in particular. He wanted another start in the WBC, which definitely would have fucked his elbow up for much longer, probably, and we wouldn't have had him from game one.
And once again, remember I said, I forgot about the WBC. Like that was a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm. This guy's been Detroit Tigers 3rd, 4th, and 5th in his list the last 2 years.
Wow. Yeah. And the fact that that Scott Boras like wanted Skubal to be present for that was manipulation, that he allowed him to manipulate him in that situation too, because of course a player who, I think the players are not normally involved in those things, but of course when the Tigers came in and laid it out on the table, this is why you don't deserve 20 whatever $1 million, of course that was going to piss him off. That's why players don't go to, it's not a heartwarming process to go through. So Boras is probably part to blame for it, but at the same time, it's like, Skubal, you're not helping yourself with the shit that's coming out of your mouth. So that's that. And
to wrap that point up real quick, they're the last 20 starts in the regular season for Skubal, they're 500. In the playoffs, they're 3-3 with him. You're better off flipping a coin, dealing him and flipping a coin on the outcome of those games in place of him.
Yeah. Now he was amazing in the last game versus, I think that was in the Kansas City series, one of the Kansas City. Mm-hmm. He was he's what we've wanted and kind of expected him to be. Because prior to that, like you said, it's not like we've been winning all. He's been an automatic W in the games. But yeah, somebody alluded to it. I can't take credit for it, but they basically, because he came out for the 6th inning or the 7th inning, but it was just one batter, and then they took him out immediately, and they basically said, that was his swan, that was his ability to get that last standing ovation before he, walks, through the sunset or whatever. And I was kind of like, it was kind of odd how they pulled him in that particular situation. So some people are saying that was possibly his last start. So I don't know. There hasn't been a lot of smoke. Of course, just the mock trades to New York, LA, Milwaukee. But I just really hope that when and if he gets moved, that we nail it with at least one ready bat. I mean, one ready arm, and a couple, and at least one potential bat. This Andrew Fisher guy from Milwaukee. I think he was in the World Baseball Classic for Italy, and he was on Bowers. What's his name? Bauer, the pitcher. the one that got banned from baseball.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember the name. I know you're talking about though. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was on his show and got to face him or whatever. But no, he's got crazy power. I guess he's a lefty, but he plays left-handed bat, but he plays third base. But I just saw a highlight of him, and he's in Milwaukee's AAA system. I would love for us to get a corner hitter of his caliber. But yeah, I just hope that we're able to nail that trade whenever Skubal does get dealt, if he does get dealt. But I feel like if there was any thought that any confidence towards us being able to, make a run, which the Cubs series kind of gave you that, splitting 2 against a divisional opponent as lowly as the Kansas City Royals makes you want to pump your brakes now. And we'll get to the upcoming games, but the team that's directly ahead of us that we have another opportunity to make some leeway against is the next team we face. So definitely got another home series, but definitely got to make those games count. Yeah. So what else? Any other topics? I don't really have too much trade stuff. I'm kind of at a standstill there. Oh, you know what? I do have one guy, and I can't take credit for it. Somebody commented this guy's name, but I think he might be the perfect candidate for us to go after. Because my thing is this: that everybody that I'm seeing the Guardians and White Sox to target is corner outfielders, and I'll be damned if the teams that are ahead of us playing down the stretch go out and upgrade in the corner outfield and we don't. And this guy Casey Schmidt, I think is the perfect Tiger. He's having a good year in San Francisco, probably having one of the better years of all the players in San Francisco outside of Devers. He's got 21 home runs this year in a very pitcher-friendly ballpark. So I thought he played second base, but apparently he's a utility guy. He can play pretty much anywhere. So you can plop him in the corner outfield, and the most appealing thing to me, obviously, he plays above average defense, which not too many players on the Tigers do. He's in the 80th percentile of outs above average. He's got a strong arm, decent speed, and he's hitting for some power this year. He's never hit more than 12 home runs. He's got 21 home runs a little over halfway through the year. And then when I pulled up his splits, I feel like those were off the charts too. Let's see here. All right. Shut this tab. All right. So against lefties, mashes lefties, hitting 317 versus lefties, 828 OPS, but also hitting 775 against righties. So he's a guy that you can play pretty much every day regardless.
Has he played any third base before?
Oh, yeah. So check this out. So you look at you can see these at bats, right? First base, second base, third base, shortstop, left field, DH. He can play anywhere. And pretty even, mostly left field, which is what we need. But he can give Torque a day off, first base, second base for Glaber, third base, and he would be a perfect. He also would be a perfect platoon guy for Cole Keith when he needs a night off. What else do we have here?
I just stick him at third and leave him there and play right because Riley's going to play left pretty much every day unless he needs a day off.
You see, hasn't hit well at the top of the order, but in the bottom, 409, 209, 298, 333, 385, 375. Runners in scoring position, 295. Runners on, 322. I mean, He literally checks every box. Corner outfield, righty bat, strong splits on lefties and righties. He can play any position, and he capitalizes with runners in scoring position. And he's got 21 home runs. That's more home runs than everybody on the team.
I think Dingler is ahead of him, and he's got 22, 23. But yeah, he tops out damn near everyone else. Riley sure as hell doesn't have 20. I don't think.
Dingler's got.
And Carey's been hurt. Yeah, it'd just be Dingler is the only one I think that's got more than him.
Damn, where is his stats? Dingler has.
Everyone else has been hurt or horrible downsides. Torkelson's got
Dingler's
probably 16, 17.
Yeah, Dingler's got 22, so he's got one more home run. He's got one more home run than Schmidt. So yeah, he'd be second on the team, and in home runs. And he's playing in now. Granted, Comerica Park's also a pitcher-friendly ballpark, but to slug 21 home runs in the first half of the season against in San Francisco is pretty impressive. And let's see how many home runs he's hit in San Francisco. Does it say that? Does it say home?
Just home.
Yeah, home.
Just for home, yeah, up there.
Home.
Yeah, it's almost half.
10 home runs at home.
Yeah.
Got a comment here.
Troy in the building.
Troy, what's going on? We shouldn't have lost the last two games. Yeah. It's we take 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, man.
I hate to say it. In last week's show, I'm like, you know what? This almost looks too good to be true with the schedule coming out too after the break. I'm like,
yeah, we had to know that it wasn't going to go, even with us, playing in very hostile territory in Wrigley Field, and then coming home to play against one of the worst teams in baseball, and we can't shut the door in the last 2 games. I mean, pretty typical of us to do that. So, Orioles, another team that are in limbo, whether they're buying or selling. We got them at home, so it's kind of. I mean, I feel like every week because it's people get tired of hearing AJ say this is a big series. This is a big series. Yeah, they're all big when you have a May that's that bad. We lost a lot of ground during that time, but yeah, if we have to, it's another series that we have to win 2 or 3 games at least, if not sweep.
I think you have to sweep because the Royals fuck up. You have to sweep. You don't have a choice. You pretty much have to go 5-1 or 6-0 each of the next 2 weeks, and that doesn't even guarantee you that you're going to be a serious buyer at the deadline, which is by the way, in what, a week and a half? Yeah, I mean you've pretty much run out of time effectively. So I mean, yeah, they're not out of it technically yet, but they're just running out of games for the deadline.
Yeah, and as it stands right now, I'm not fully convinced that we'll just run through Cleveland when we see them next. J-Ram is back now, so it's going to get that much more difficult. Stephen Kwan has played better than he's played for most of this season, and yeah, I mean the pressure is on us. They have the cushion right now. I think who's up? Who's in? Is it Chicago? Is Chicago ahead right now, or is it?
It's kind of back and forth, but Murakami had 2 home runs today, and he's been back for like 2 weeks, and he's on fire still. Again, I mean, it's and to your point about the divisional games after their West Coast trip, I mean, it is heavy division against all the not just Kansas City. They have 1 more series left, but it's Cleveland, Minnesota, Chicago, Cleveland, like 4 out of 7 series or 5 out of 8 series. So it's going to be an absolute gauntlet going forward. But I mean, the fact that the Orioles are coming up, it gives me nightmares from the last run of 2014, where that illustrious rotation got absolutely blown off their doors and swept by the Orioles. Oh, which, by the way, had Delman Young, who we let go in free agency.
Really? Delman Young was on the Orioles?
Yeah. He killed us that series. That last game where they swept us, he had like 3 hits, including a home run, like 5 RBIs. Absolutely destroyed. Scherzer, Verlander, Sanchez, L's.
Wow.
You got to be able to hit in the playoffs, man. And we've seen it firsthand the last 2 years. This team probably should have been in the ALCS at least one of the years.
At least one. Troy says, are you guys wanting to keep or trade Skubal? I'm leaning trade if we get really good young pitcher already performing in MLB. Yeah, we talked about it about 10 minutes ago. Yeah, we're about done with him. I mean, he pitched great the other day. And when it's all said and done, I said it a month ago, it's gonna be the franchise is gonna be split. There's going to be some logical, and you sent me the video of the people talking, the women were like, oh no, keep Skubal, I think he should stay. And the men are like, it's about time to let it go. Because we understand how it works. We know he's leaving regardless, and we have the opportunity to, build and keep ourselves afloat for the next couple of years. Unfortunately, we're not talking a World Series at this time because of the fact that we haven't got the bats that we need. But at the end of the day, if we can continue to be in the mix, in the playoffs, threatening to possibly be a, wild card / World Series contender, you're always one strong trade deadline away from making that happen. So, you just don't want to get to a point to where you have seasons where you're just completely bottoming out. I mean, that's essentially what happened after Verlander. The return we got on that investment wasn't strong, and ultimately the team got extremely, lacked a lot of talent, and then you had an older Cabrera trying to carry us. So. Yeah, you want to continue to replenish the farm system. We saw what the farm system, how the farm system can be a contributor to the teams. Now you got Hyu Lee, who was traded, was a part of the Lorenzen trade a couple of years back. That's finally come to fruition. McGonigal, obviously, he's an all-star, and in a new class of legends every time you look up. So yeah, it's good. I think that we would benefit a lot from getting a nice little haul back, and the longer we wait, the lesser the value is going to be. But somebody's going to get desperate when it's all said and done. That's my thought process. Ohtani's not pitching right now, so I feel like the Dodgers are like, well, maybe we do need a Skubal or a Mize or somebody. He said, in a perfect world, we have an owner that would pay him, but since that's not possible, we should trade. But I want a great return. I'm not trading for nothing. I mean, you're going to lose. You could possibly lose them for nothing. So, yeah, you're going to trade.
And then we touched on earlier the comp pick situation with the luxury tax, a little more complicated. But Troy, if they're still over the luxury threshold, that comp pick slides down to a 4th round pick, which is essentially worthless. And that would, to your point, Brian, that would be literally like, you're losing him for nothing. So I think you absolutely. I'm not lean. I'm firm. Sell, trade him. 2 players minimum, both top 100 at the worst. Ideally, 2 in the top 75, with 1 being a top 15 prospect. But yeah, I think a bat and an arm, I think, is kind of the baseline here. If you go 2 arms, I mean, I don't know how you can take this franchise seriously when they refuse to address their offense for almost would be potentially up to 3 years in a row, depending what happens with the looming lockout for next year.
Right. He said, I'm happy we have McGonigal locked up for 8 years. Yeah. We did that part right. We did lock 1 bat down. So.
Yeah. I mean, if he's smart, you get Dingler locked down, and you lock down Montero for value. You get all 3 of those guys, and if you can get Mize, there's like 40% of where you would have paid Skubal. And frankly, Troy, like the money that he's commanding, it ain't worth it. 5 innings, your bullpen is crap because he can't get to the 6th inning on a regular basis. I'm not paying him $400 million to be a 5-inning pitcher. Sorry.
And they had, Bird Fidrich's family on the in the booth today, and they had his stats up there. I think he was, how many wins? He had 19. He had a crazy rookie season, but the thing that jumped out to me, 24 complete games. Only won 19 games, so some of those were losses. They weren't using bullpen guys back then. Those guys had rubber arms, and they went out there and pitched every day back then. And
That's what my dad said.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, in the 84 when they won it, every starter went to distance. They didn't use a single bullpen arm, I think, except for one game. They came in the ninth inning or extras. The starters went 8-9 almost every single game in that World Series.
That's insane. And then on the other hand, you got Skubal, who you haven't seen him throw a complete game in what, years?
Yeah, Montero's the only pitcher in the Tigers system in the last 3 years to throw a complete game, and not even that, he threw a complete game shutout. Skubal hasn't even done that.
Of course it was. Of course it was Montero. Who else would it be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's get to the last break, and then we're going to talk about the upcoming schedule. All right, who we got coming up?
All right, as you teased us earlier here, the Orioles coming into town to end the homestand here. Monday it will be Montero against Kyle Bradish. Tuesday will be Melton against Kramer. And Wednesday, tentatively, Skubal against Rogers before they head out on a long West Coast trip starting weekend going out to the Las Vegas / Sacramento / formerly Oakland A's. Mize going on the bump Friday against Springs. Saturday will be Valdez against Perkins, and Sunday will be Montero against Jump with a smaller peek ahead to finish out the West Coast trip. They will then travel to Seattle for 3, with finally getting I believe a day. No, that Monday will be a day off for them, and then they will quickly flip it for 3 more in San Francisco to end the first 9 days into August, and only a few days past the trade deadline.
Yeah, San Francisco, interesting team to face. Hopefully there's some former Tigers. Well, there are definitely some former Tigers on there. You got Matt Gage, you got Dylan Smith, who I saw it was Dylan out there. And we also have Jason Foley. Remember Jason Foley had that arm had that I want to say he had Tommy. I think he had Tommy John.
Was he with the same time like Alex Lang and Brisky?
Yep.
Originally. Yeah.
Yep. So he is back. Got engaged to that Lions announcer. What's her name? Rogers. Her last name is Rogers. What is her name? She she used to do Lions, like the sideline type stuff. She just launched her engagement thing, and obviously they met when in Detroit when he was a Tiger and she was working for the Lions, and made a soft launch for her engagement. Foley's still kicking. Wow, good to see. We should smoke San Francisco. Yeah. If San Francisco doesn't have a revenge tour, you see Casey Smith. Devers is hot. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, hopefully we're in talks right now. I've already alluded to it. Scott Harris used to work for the San Francisco Giants, so go and grab some players. But outside of that, as far as the upcoming schedule, obviously the Baltimore series, we're a game and a half behind them in the wild card. So that just goes without saying that we need to take some games in that series. And then, what was the other series that you were talking about? Oh, the Seattle Mariners. They are where are they in the wild card?
We have the A's this next weekend before Seattle and San Francisco.
Well, yeah, I jumped past that one, although not literally. Obviously, they're a team that we need to win those games just as much as any other games.
Didn't they win that series in Comerica just like last month?
No, they didn't win it. Mm-mm. They didn't win it, I don't think.
I know we didn't sweep them because we were looking at damn, they're hurt too, and we couldn't sweep them.
We might have swept them.
We swept the Angels.
I think we beat the A's. I went to one of those games.
I think we took this series against, I don't think we swept them, but they were definitely a little bit of a thorn in our side. I think they have been since last year too.
Oh yeah, no, I think they swept us last year. But yeah, the Mariners are up 2 games above us in the wild card, and they're only 2 games away from 500. So Between the Orioles and the Mariners, those are two teams that are ahead of us in the wild card that we can get some games on. We always battle Seattle, except for right before the All-Star game last year. They destroyed us. Now, granted, Cal Riley. And I want you to get to your hot take. Cal Riley and them guys, had their way with us last year right before the All-Star game. But you said you had a hot take that you said offline. I wanted you to get an opportunity to talk about that. We got 5 minutes before we're at an hour, but let's hear
it. We're talking about the MVP or the other one about I think
that was the one that stuck out to me was the MVP one.
Yeah, I think in the next 5 years, Dylan Dingler is going to win a MVP of the league. Not being the MVP of Detroit, but MVP of the league. Just given everything he's doing right now, and the fact that batting averages are so down historically this year, especially. But it's kind of been a slow trend the last few years. If he hits 270, ripping 25, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, and he's still the best defensive catcher out there and the highest conversion of ABS win rate, what more can you do other than steal bases? But catchers historically don't steal bases. So, he's setting records that haven't been done by catchers since Carlton Fisk a generation ago.
What records?
Mickey, it's his clutch. It's like clutch hitting, multi-hit games. His RBI production, some of his slugging, he just hasn't. I'd have to go back specifically, but every to your point about McGonigal, and they post as much as they're pouring over his historically impressive first 100 games. Dylan's kind of gone under the radar a little bit nationally just because, McGonigal was the story coming out of spring training across Major League Baseball. Not only is he going to be MVP, I'll go double down on a hot take. At this rate, if we screw up the Skubal situation here at this deadline and Hinch or Harris is not fired by the end of the offseason this year, they're going to destroy the core that is about to come up and mesh with who they already have up. Sorry to say it, but this system sucks for this team, and these guys are getting killed for it. And it's largely because of Hinch and Harris. I mean, Hinch is beating his head over on the wall of the system that does not work. Jahmai Jones batting against lefties, terrible. Torkel Stadium getting starts every single goddamn day. Worst defensive first baseman in the league. And yet Glaber's going to continue to get at bats, and yet he can't slug. And I don't think he's got much left in the tank. Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds like a negative Nancy, but the core is still really good.
Yeah,
the starting pitching is there, even if you dump Skubal. Hell, I think if you wanted to get risky and trade Mize too and not offer an extension to him in the offseason, you still have a fairly good rotation that's a little less experienced, but you still have Job, Olsen, who I will say is one more injury away from being tagged injury prone because he's missed a huge chunk of the last 2 years.
I think he's already injury prone because he's missed.
Yeah, it's fair.
Even his rookie year, I feel like he missed some time, but I don't know.
Yeah, and you still have Montero, who I swear to God, if they don't extend, I know he's 26, but you get him, Olsen, Job. You still have Ty Madden to kind of mess around with, and you got Melton still. So you might not have to go out and get a starting pitcher in the offseason.
Maybe one.
But boy, yeah, that wouldn't. Certainly wouldn't.
Because all those guys are young, pretty young.
Yeah. But I mean,
Valdez is. Don't forget about Valdez because regardless of how you shake it, he's coming back next year. He's opting in. Yeah. There's no way anybody pays him. And
you're not gonna get much in a trade without offering money to help offset the contract for this year at least. So I mean,
at least he's the only I don't consider contract left because I mean Hobby will be expiring.
He's got one more year, I think, after this year.
Well, no. He's expiring next. His last season is next year.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that he's hurt and you can't really trade him for much anything, considering he's a $37 million cap hit. I mean, you're going to be starting guys that are so limited in a lot of aspects that I think it'll end. If AJ does what I think he's going to do, which he's shown a pretty good history of in the last few years, he is going to be loyal to the wrong guys, and it's going to end up tanking the season. If he starts Glaber and Baez on a regular basis together, considering Hao-Yu Lee and some of the other players that they've had
the rest of this year, you're talking about?
Yeah, when they're cleared and ready to come back for Javi, obviously Glaber's already back. But
if Javi is starting instead of James Outman, I'll take that all day and twice on Sunday.
I mean, I won't take it from a defensive standpoint because this team is awful defensively. I mean, you have a couple good, really good players, and we mentioned Colts had some better days, but overall, this team stinks defensively.
Sure.
And if you can't hit and you can't play defense and the starting pitching is all you got, that's only one of 3 items. This ain't a playoff team. Sorry. At least not in this system, the way it's set up structurally. They can't. They kill the guys that have hot streaks and get pitch hit for and pulled. I mean, yeah, sure, but Javi in the batter's box, slider. That's all I'm throwing him.
He had a great playoffs last year. He was one of our better players.
That was the last year. We've been fine without him. I'm fine. I'd be like, screw it, man. I'm putting you on the 60-day and we'll pay you out. Just stay away.
We're fine without him, but
if you really want to win, you got to make some tough decisions. Some of these guys need to sit their ass on the bench, but that's not going to happen.
Well, everybody plays for the Tigers. Ain't no sitting on the bench.
That's true.
You know, so.
He was honest about that when he got hired. He goes, all my 26-man guys, they're going to play. But it's also at the detriment to the guys that are playing well. You know, it's hard to keep that momentum when you're getting yanked every other game or not starting every other game. But that's kind of a larger issue that we've been talking about for a while now.
Troy says Dingle is a big part of why we're right in the race. Oh, yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. My only reservation to him being an MVP in the next 5 years is the fact that he plays catcher, and we know how that position ages. I alluded to Cal Riley. He's having an awful year. It's just tough to maintain. I mean, he had an historical crazy year last year. I don't even know what happened to him, but I would like to think that it has something to do with the fact that he plays just a really grueling position. A deep postseason run will be a great experience for our young players. Yeah, it's been good for the guys that have experienced it over the last couple of years because most of these guys were young and new to the playoffs. Even Riley Green. We've not been fine without him. I mean we have because we're one of the hottest teams in baseball since May. But as far as I don't know. I hate to continue to, to get on Outman and Vierling, but they're just not majorly. I mean, maybe you can say Vierling is a major league player, but he's certainly not an everyday player. Outman has like one good at bat a week. We've not, So he said Javi was an unreal utility guy switching positions last year. Our utility situation has been a disaster this year. Yeah, because you got McKinstry out there, and what it is we have one too many utility guys playing every day. Guys that should be playing on the bench, being as defensive substitutions, but instead they're getting 4 at bats a game. McKinstry, Vierling, Outman. It's the three-headed monster. You just can't play them. You just can't play them together. I mean, these are guys that literally are in the lineup together on a daily basis, let alone over the course of a game.
Heaven forbid
you throw Jake Rogers out there every once in a while too.
Just about to say that when Dylan needs a break and he DHs, guess who's catching? Yeah. It's Jake. Oh,
and then Dingler's your DH that day. He doesn't even really get a day off. So, but Dingler's our best hitter, so makes sense. All right, we are at the hour mark. We are getting really, really close to 500 subscribers. So please subscribe if you haven't already. They're finally hitting that milestone. He said we need a guy like Tommy Edman who we want to run this style of baseball. Yeah, we just had the wrong players for what the style of play. Like I just bang my head on the wall at some of the lack of speed and base running. I was watching the Tampa Bay Rays against the Cleveland Indians, 2 teams that know how to score even when they're not hitting a bunch of home runs. Chandler, Simpson, the ball when the first run they scored, it was 0-0 all the way to the 5th inning. The first run they scored, the ball barely left the infield. He slapped a base hit over the third baseman's head because he's a danger to steal. And then he steals second base, moves over to third on a ground ball to the right side of the infield, and then with one out, Cedric Mullins bunts it over to first base, and Simpson scores on an infield single. That's how you manufacture runs, and it doesn't force you to have to barely hit the ball at all. But this team doesn't have any speed. Colt got threw out earlier this week. Riley Green just barely legged out a couple doubles where he was basically out. Who else got thrown out? I don't know.
McKinstry, first to third.
Oh my God. That was today.
Yeah, today too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it might have happened yesterday too, but yeah, on a play where this was all in front of him. This was a ground ball to left field, and yeah, and that was a run. That was a run we ended up needing, and it was with what was McGonigal batting. Yeah. I think McGonigal got the hit, and McKinstry was the one that tried to go first to third. Now, usually we go first to third, ground ball to the center field, ground ball to right field, but not to left field. And he was damn near safe, but yeah, we needed that run, so whatever. And McKinstry is our best base runner at that. So, anyways, that's a whole nother rant. Subscribe to the channel. Any closing words before we get up out of here?
Yeah, I just hope by this time next week we're talking about the haul we're gonna get or whatever the return will be for Skubal. I know technically he would still have one more outing on Wednesday prior to the deadline. I mean, it's still a handful of days before it, but to your point of that'd be weird if they end up trading him with another home start still scheduled before before the deadline actually comes. But he's got to go. If you really want to get spicy, then Mize as well. But I guess what I heard on the way back from the game today on the radio was that there are some other GMs nationally who are saying that they're going to try and spin it to the public and the fans and the players in the room left that, hey, we're still in this. It's like, dude, it's all fluff. Like you can be a seller and a buyer at the same time. And we've discussed that. You can potentially improve this offense by getting a bat back that's preferably MLB already ready to help this offense and inject some life because, Skubal's been a 50-50 guy the last handful of weeks and starts and even the playoffs. So I understand what he brings to the table, but he's also killing the bullpen at the same time. But yeah, I would like to hopefully see, what happens if Baez comes back, what they do, and then if Parker even comes back. Hasn't been too much up on his update, but you want to talk about speed?
Yeah,
he is the fastest guy in the team, and he covers the best range in the outfield. But I think a lot of people have kind of written him off, and it's kind of a shame. But we'll see. But they damn near got a sweep this week. I mean, they're up against it, and you have to imagine a 5-1 week may only get you plus 1.5 in either side, whether it's division or wild card. Because I'm not gonna lie, like if they get on the wild card, it's like, okay, we're doing the same thing we've done the last 2 years. How are we expecting a different outcome this time? What's different? Nothing.
Except the stakes are higher, and now you're facing losing Skubal for nothing. At least the last couple of years, you can say, "Oh, what about next year? Oh, what about next year?" There's no next year now, and there literally might not be no next year because of the strike too. So, definitely different circumstances at this point. Always love talking to you. Appreciate you, Troy. Always support us and hold us down in here. But yeah, almost more important than getting a bat is getting a high leverage arm. At this point, Finnegan has a ERA under 3, but he's got blown up a couple of times. I think he gave up some runs this week, but numbers look good. He's actually somebody that if we're selling some guys off, that might garner some interest just off of face value in the numbers because they're going to see that 2-something ERA and say, "Hey, I'll take that." And yeah, Kenley Jansen saying he's had a good month. If they're looking at recency, team might be a team that's looking for an extra arm, not a closer, but maybe just another high leverage arm, but if we're allegedly buying and trying to go for a run, they're not going to get rid of any of these guys, to be honest. So we'll see. We'll get out of here. Hopefully the next time you see us, we'll have we'll be talking reactions from some type of trade, because that is right around the corner. But subscribe to the channel. We'll be with you guys throughout the entire process. And go Tigers, I guess. We out of here.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat.